Oh, welcome to day 142 of Daily Bread. We'll be starting Deuteronomy, Moshe's final book, Isaiah chapter 2, Psalms 141, Proverbs 22, and Romans chapter 11. We'll begin the Scriptures 2009 version. And Deuteronomy on page 185. Deuteronomy is the farewell speeches for Moshe. So, 185, Deuteronomy, chapter 1. These are the words which Moshe spoke to all Israel beyond the Jordan, in the wilderness, in the desert plain opposite Suphah, between Paran and Taphel, and Laban, and Hasor, and Di-Zebim. 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. And it came to be in the 40th year, in the 11th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, that Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, according to all that Yahweh had commanded him concerning them. After he had stricken Shihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, who dwelt in Ashereth in Edrei, beyond the Jordan, in the land of Moab, Moshe undertook to declare this Torah, saying, Yahweh, our Elohim, spoke to us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough at this mountain. Turn and set on your way, and go into the mountains of the Amorites, and to all the neighboring places in the desert plain, in the mountains, and in the lowland country, and in the Negev, and on the sea coast, and in the land of Canaanites, and to Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to give to them and their seed after them. And I spoke to you at that time, saying, I am unable to bear you by myself. Yahweh your Elohim has increased you, and see, you are today as numerous as the stars of the heavens. Yahweh Elohim of your fathers is going to add to you 1,000 times more than you are, and blessed you as he has spoken to you. How do I bear your pressure and your burden and your strife by myself? Choose men, wise and understanding. This is Moshe asking. Choose men, wise and understanding, and know to your tribes, and let me appoint them as your heads. And you answered me and said, The word which you have spoken to us to do is good. And I took the heads of your tribes, wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, and leaders of fifties, and leaders of tens, and officers of your tribes. And I commanded your judges at that time, saying, When hearing between your brothers, judge righteously between a man and his brother, or the soldier who is with them. Do not show partiality in right ruling. Hear the small as well as the great. Do not be afraid of anyone's face, for the right ruling belongs to Elohim. And the case which is too hard for you, bring it to me, and I shall hear it. And I commanded you at that time all the words which you should do. And then when we set out from Horeb, and went through all the great and awesome wilderness which you saw, on the way to the mountains of the Amorites, as Yahweh our Elohim had commanded us, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said to you, you have come to the mountains of the Amorites, which Yahweh our Elohim is giving us. See, Yahweh your Elohim has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you. Do not fear nor be discouraged. And all that you came near to me and said, let us send men before us, and let them search out the land for us, and bring back word to us of the way which we should go up, and of the cities into which we would come. And the matter was good in my eyes, and I took 12 of your men, one man from each tribe, and they turned and went up into the mountains and came to the Wadi Eshcol and spied it out. And they took some of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down to us. And they brought back word to us, saying, the land which Yahweh our Elohim is giving us is good. But you would not go up, and rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh your Elohim, and grumbled in your tents, and said, because Yahweh was hating us, he has brought us out of the land of Mizraim to give us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to do what? Where are we going to? Our brothers have made our hearts melt, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to the heavens, and we saw the sons of the Anak there too. Then I said to you, have no dread or fear of them. Yahweh your Elohim, who is going before you, he does fight for you, according to all he did for you in Mizraim before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where you saw how Yahweh your Elohim has borne you, as a man bears his son, in all the way that you went until you came to this place. Yet in this matter you are putting no trust in Yahweh your Elohim, who is going before you in the way to seek out a place for you to pitch your tents, to show you the way you should go, in fire by night and in cloud by day. And Yahweh heard the voice of your words, and was wroth, and took an oath, saying, not one of these men of this evil generation shall see the good land of which I swore to give to their fathers. Except Caleb, son of Kephalam, he shall see it, and to him and his children I give the land on which he walked, because he followed Yahweh completely. And Yahweh was enraged with me for your sake, saying, you do not go either. Joshua, son of Nun, who stands before you, he shall go there. Strengthen him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit. And your little ones and your children who you say are for prey, who today have no knowledge of good and evil, they are going in there, and to them I give it, and they are to possess it. But you turn and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds. Then you answered and said to me, we have sinned against Yahweh. We ourselves are going up, and we shall fight as Yahweh our Elohim commanded us. And each one of you has girded on his battle gear. You were ready to go up into the mountain. And Yahweh said to me, say to them, do not go up nor fight, for I am not in your midst, lest you be smitten before your enemies. So I spoke to you, but you would not listen, and rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh, and acted proudly, and went up into the mountain. Then the Amorites who dwelt in that mountain came out against you, and chased you back as bees, and drove you back from Seir and Haram. And you returned and wept before Yahweh, but Yahweh would not listen to your voice nor give ear to you. So you have dwelt in Kadesh many days, according to the days that you had dwelt. Isaiah chapter 2 on page 415. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, was concerning Judah, Saul concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall be in the later days that the mountain of the house of Yahweh is established on top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. And many people shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and let him teach us his ways, and let us walk in his paths. For out of Zion comes forth the Torah, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge between the nations, and shall reprove many peoples. And they shall beat their swords unto the plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither teach battle any more. O house of Jacob, come and let us walk in the light of Yahweh. For you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they have been filled from the east, and practice magic like the Philistines. And they are pleased with the children of the foreigners. And their land is filled with silver and gold, and there is no end to their treasure. And their land is filled with horses, and there is no end to their chariots. And their land is filled with idols. They bow themselves to the work of their own hands, to what their own fingers have made. And the lowly brows down, and the high is humbled. Therefore you do not forgive them. Enter into the rock and hide in the dust, because of the fear of Yahweh, and the splendor of his excellency. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, the pride of men shall be bowed down, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. For Yahweh of hosts has a day against all that is proud and lofty, against all that is lifted up, so that it is brought low, and against all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and against all the oaks of Bashan, and against all the high mountains, and against all the hills that are lifted up, and against every lofty tower, and against every strong wall, and against all the ships of Tarshish, and against all the desirable craft, and the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the pride of men shall be brought low, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols completely passed away, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth, from dread of Yahweh and the splendor of his excellency, when he arises to shake the earth mightily. In that day man shall throw away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made, each for himself to worship, to the moles and bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks, and to the crags of the rugged rocks, because of the fear of Yahweh and the splendor of his excellency. When he arises to shake the earth mightily, cease from man, whose breath is in his nostrils. For in what is he to be reckoned upon? Psalms 141 on page 726. Yahweh, I have cried out to you. Hasten to me. Give ear to my voice when I cry out to you. Let my prayer be prepared before you as incense, the lifting up my hands as the evening offer. O Yahweh, O Yahweh, set a guard for my mouth. Watch over the door of my lips. Let not my heart be inclined to evil, to practice deeds of wrongness with men working wickedness, and let me not eat other delicacies. Let the righteous one smite me, or reprove me in loving commitment. It is oil on my head. Let my head not refuse it. My prayer is still against their evil deeds. Their judges have been thrown down by the sides of the rock, but they have heard my words, for they have been pleasant. Our bones are scattered at the mouth of Sheol. And when one plows and breaks up the earth, as when one plows and breaks up the earth. But my eyes are upon you, O Master Yahweh. In you I take refuge. Do not pour out my life. Guard me from the clutches of the trap they have laid for me, and from the snares of the workers of wickedness. Let the wrong fall into their own nets, while I pass by. Proverbs 22 on page 749. A good name is preferable to great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. Yahweh is the maker of them all. A clever one foresees evil and conceals himself, but the simple go on and are punished. The reward of humility is the fear of Yahweh, riches and esteem and life. Thorns, snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his life keeps far away from them. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he turns not away from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. He who sows unrighteously reaps trouble, and the rod of his wrath perishes. He who has a good eye is blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and strife goes out, and contention and shame cease. He who loves cleanliness of heart, whose speech is pleasant, a sovereign is his friend. The eyes of Yahweh shall watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. "13. The lazy one says, there is a lion in the street, I am going to be murdered in the street. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit, and the one denounced by Yahweh falls in there. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline drives it far from him. One oppresses the poor to increase his wealth, and another gives to the rich only to come to poverty. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. For they are pleasant. If you guard them within you, let all of them be ready on your lips, that your trust might be in Yahweh. I cause you to know today, even you. Have I not previously written to you of counsels and knowledge, to cause you to know the certainty of the words, to return words of truth to those who send to you? Do not rob the poor because he is poor, and oppress not the afflicted at the gate. For Yahweh pleads their cause, and shall plunder those who plunder them. Make no friendship with one given to wrath, and do not go with a man of rage, lest you learn his ways and find yourself ensnared. Do not be one of those who shakes hand in a pledge, one of those who are a guarantor of debts. If you do not have the means to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. Do you see a man who is skilled in his work? He does stand before sovereigns. He does not stand before obscure ones. Romans chapter 11, on page 1100. Sometimes it just works that way. I say then, has Elohim rejected his people? Let it not be. For I am of Israel, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Elohim has not rejected his people, Psalms 94:14, whom he knew beforehand. Or do you not know what the scripture says of Elijah, who he pleads with Elohim against Israel, saying, Yahweh, they have killed your prophets and overthrown your slaughter places, and I alone am left, and they seek my life. 1 Kings 19, chapter 19, verse 10 and 14. But what does the answer of Elohim say to him? I have left for myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to Baal. 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 18. So therefore also at this present time a remnant according to the choice of favor has come to be. And if by favor it is no longer of works, otherwise favor is no longer favor. And if it is of works, it is no longer favor, otherwise work is no longer work. What then? Israel has not obtained what it seeks, but the chosen did obtain it, and the rest were hardened. As it has been written, Yahweh has given them a spirit of deep sleep, eyes not to see, and ears not to hear unto this day. Deuteronomy 29:4 and Isaiah 29:10. David also says, let their table become for a snare, and for a trap, and for a stumbling block, and a recompense to them. Let their eyes be darkened, not to see, and bow down their backs always. Psalms 69:22 and 23. I say then, they have stumbled that they should fall. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Let it not be. But by their fall, deliverance has come to the nations to provoke them to jealousy. Deuteronomy 32:21. And if their fall is riches to the world, and their failure riches to the nations, how much more their completeness? For I speak to you, the nations, in much as I am an emissary to the nations, I esteem my service. If somehow I might provoke to jealousy, Deuteronomy 32:21, again, those who are my flesh, and save some of them. For if their casting away is the restoration to the favor of the world, what is their acceptance but life from the dead? Now, if the first fruit is set apart, the lump is also. And if the root is set apart, so are the branches. And if some of the branches were broken off, and you being a wild olive tree, have been grafted in among them, and come to share the root and fatness of the olive tree. Do not boast against the branches, and if you boast, remember you do not bear the root, but the root bears you. You shall say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Good. By unbelief they were broken off. And you stand by belief. Remember, 20. Good. By unbelief they were broken off. And you stand by belief. Do not be arrogant, but fear. For if Elohim did not spare the natural branches, he might not spare you either. See then the kindness and sharpness of Elohim on those who fell sharpness, but toward their kindness. If you continue in his kindness, otherwise you also shall be cut off. And they also, if they do not continue in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For Elohim is able to graft them in again. Let me repeat that, 23. And they also, if they do not continue in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For Elohim is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into the good olive tree, how much more shall these who are the natural branches be grafted into their own olive tree? For I do not wish you to be ignorant of the secret, brothers, lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Israel, until the completeness of the nations has come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it has been written, the deliverer, capital D, shall come out of Zion, and he shall turn away wickedness from Jacob. And this is my covenant with them, when I take away their sins. Isaiah 59, verse 21 and 20. Truly, as regards to the good news, they are enemies for your sake, but concerning the choices, they are beloved for the sake of their fathers. For the gifts of and the calling of Elohim are not to be repented of. For as you also at one time disobeyed Elohim, but now have obtained compassion through their obedience, so also these have been disobeyed. So also these have now disobeyed, that through the compassion shown you, they also might obtain compassion. For Elohim has shut them all up to disobedience, in order to have compassion on all. Oh, the depth of riches and wisdom and knowledge of Elohim! How unsearchable his judgments and untraceable his ways! For who has known the mind of Yahweh, or who has become his counsel? Isaiah 40:13. Or who first gave to him, and it shall be given back to him? Job 35, verse 7, and 41:11. Because of him, and through him, and to him are all, to whom be esteemed forever. Amen. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.